Hello, everybody. How are you? Why does it say cancel on my camera? I gotta fix that. Oh, I hate when these things happen. Cancel, menu set, whatever. I don't want that. This is a technical issue that I don't like to have. There it is. No, still shows the date. Maybe. I don't even know. Stop showing me the date, camera. I love you to death. Hold on, guys. And there we have it. I figured it out. That's why I go on early and don't get things figured out because I'm a last minute kind of person. How's it going, everybody? I hope you're having a good time out there. We have good news for Las Vegas today. We're going to wait until some people jump on this stream. Maybe I can get 125 people on the stream. And then I'll be like, I get 125. I'm the biggest and the best, which means I'm validated as a human being. Oh, look, I have 136. Coolio. All right, so look at my camera, look at my chats right here, see what's going on. Hopefully you guys can hear me okay. Hidden Jackpots is here. Diane is here. Jeffrey, I can't say your last name. I won't offend you, is here. John is here. Connie's here. Sugarbutt's here. Jim is here. Dal Lamb is here. Glad you guys are all here. Brian is here. Hey, the gang is all here. Cindy is here. NA is here. Just got laid off today, but hopefully it's only temporary. Sasha, I'm sorry to hear that you got laid off today. That is a bummer. Nobody likes the idea of getting laid off, but with everything that you do, new things can happen. Hope springs eternal. You can maybe do something and chase a passion. I don't know what to tell you. Bruce is here. I have another Bruce. I call all the Bruces the boss. So what's up, boss? Where are you guys checking in from today? Jason Shepard seems to only like to post question marks. Hey, Jason, you can cut that out or you can ask you not to chat for 5 minutes. No, I'm covering a pimple boil thing that burst and I have issues. And somebody was like, did you get into a fight? You have scratches. These scratches are from a type of berry that grows in my backyard. The problem is it grows completely wild. Oh, where are we checking in from? I forgot I asked. I got Pennsylvania, Arizona. Jim Froelich gets a shout out. Michigan's here. Oklahoma, Sooners or Cowboys. Mississippi, Louisiana, Seattle, California, Wisconsin. Manny's coming back. Minneapolis, Minnesota, Arizona, Oregon, Michigan, Chicago, San Diego, North Carolina, Phoenix, Aurora. I'm from Aurora, Illinois. Excellent. Had to do it. Colorado, Oregon, North Carolina. Cool. I love it. You guys are great for being in the live stream today. This is awesome news that I read, just posted up on the Google News 4 or so hours ago. Holy cow, my friends. My friends. I could talk like an evangelical Christian preacher. Would you like me to do that? Give me some thumbs up. This is the time of the video where there's 284 people, and all I'm asking you to do is click the little X to leave the live chat, and click the thumbs up button and then come back to the live chat. Because if you do that, then I can get 300 likes to go on, and that would be great. I got Baltimore here, Grant from Vancouver, Ontario. I think that's Canada, not California. Buffalo, give us the Vegas news. Well, Jerome, I always do that every morning, but I'm going to do it in this live stream right now just for the heck of it. And that would be good. Look, Campbell River, British Columbia. I like that place. It kind of preaches to me. It speaks to me in a little way, you know what I'm saying? So I'm going to try to look in the camera while I talk. I got the live stream right here. My camera's up here on a bigger tripod. You guys can see it's a bigger kind of an angle right now. Niagara Falls, Hidden Jackpots. I grew up in Niagara Falls, Ontario, Canada. Yeah, I don't know about last night, guys, but I'm here today, and I will be on here as long as I'm on here. I don't know what to tell you. So if you guys look at the news, you guys see news that's going on, and if you're just coming into the chat for the first time, my name's Steven. I do these all the time. And, you know, I read some good news today from two different sources. Today's video, of course, talked about whether or not these memes and these internet rumors are good for Las Vegas or if they're bad. And I think in a lot of cases they can be good. In a lot of cases they can be bad. What social media does is it allows you to have a platform. I don't know why my platform is growing as quickly as it is. I gained 300 subscribers today, which is fantastic. But it is doing what it's doing. Stackopoly is here. Howdy, when do you think poker rooms will be up and running? Probably the minute they open the casinos, but you might not like it, Stackopoly, because they're going to be doing four-hand poker, as they call it. Wall Street, New York City is in the his house. The Sturvin J. Campbell house. Typos are a son of a gun, aren't they? So what's the news today? I read the news today. Oh boy. Caesar's Palace is not requiring masks. That's a Beatles song where I changed the lyrics. The Beatles song is The Day in the Life. It's a great song. You should all listen to A Day in the Life. I will spend 8 minutes so you can go listen to that song and then come back to me. But Caesar's Palace is not requiring masks on their patrons. Holy cow! Is that nuts? That's great news, right? I mean, Caesar's Palace is not going to require guests and patrons to wear face masks. This is completely against what the Wind said they're going to do, which is like basically have stormtroopers all over the property, pushing you out of the door if you don't have a mask on your face, giving you a mask and telling you, put on your PPEs, everybody, we're going to town. So Caesar's today, Tony Rodeo, and we gave him some some SH blank blank for his awkward, ridiculous stream that just went, his message that just went out to talk to the people who were high rollers in Wales. But he said today in it was 4 hours ago, he said that when Caesars opens, likely Caesars Palace will open first and foremost. When that happens, they will look at the demand for Las Vegas and open all their other properties in Vegas at the same time. At the same time, a very good friend of mine, who, thank you for that, Wall Street Warlord. I appreciate it, Irving Jackson. You guys are great. At the same time, I have a good friend of mine who has a personal host that he texts from his phone. You have a personal relationship with your hosts. They want you to come to Vegas because they make money off of you coming and gaming and losing. That's how hosting works. But he said that his host had texted him, and they said, "Oh, Michael. Geez, Michael, you're heating it up. Thank you, guys. 501 likes for Michael. Thank you, Michael." So he usually games at Harrah's. If you don't know who this guy is, his name is Kevin. He's the guy who's in my Harrah's video. Thank you, Brianna, Drag Queen Slots. Heard anything on Rio? That's where I'm staying in June. Well, let's think about this for a moment, Brianna. We have to make a good point because I try to look at all your chats. When I see that big colorful background, then I know to focus on your question. No, it's not extortion to get money out of you. It's just that right now my chat rate has 28 chats per minute. That's a chat every 2 seconds, give or take, and it's hard to keep up. Brianna, thank Brianna 552 times. So the Rio is not owned any longer by Caesars Entertainment, right? But it's owned by a New York company that just buys properties and lets people run them for them. So that's okay because Caesars is running it. So if Caesars is running it and they're not going to require guests at Caesars Entertainment to wear masks, then I guess that you probably won't have to wear a mask there. Now, a lot of these hotels want to take your reservation money. Okay, they want to take your money, and that's okay. This is not a negative. I promise not to get too super negative in this video. They'll take your reservation money. They'll refund you your money if the trip gets canceled. So if you already have a trip booked, I would say probably, unless there's a flight involved and you can't get your money back for the flight, just go the distance with all that. You're going the distance. You're going for speed. It's a song by Cake. Man, I'm a cornucopia of 90s useless trivia and knowledge, aren't I? So I would say probably stay the distance if you can. Go all the way to the end and see if you can actually stay in that place. Because what do you have to lose, right? And so it's something that people say. What do you have to lose in this case? Nothing. You show up, you stay, you have a great vacation. Bernie says, oh, no, we don't have to. Guys, hey. What's that? If you've ever been spit on as a dealer, you think that's great news. Ha! That was moderated by Wall Street Warlord. Bernie said if you've ever been spit on as a dealer, it's great news. Well, yes, so the dealers have to wear masks. That's another thing in all the properties. So the dealers and all of the employees that work for casinos, they have to wear masks. Now, we have to take a seriously close look at the mask things. Like, look, if you want to wear a mask, my wife makes masks. She does awesome masks. She makes them with a lace around the back so they don't have elastic sticking into your ear and so it fits on your face real well. But wearing one at work for 8 hours a day, if it's mandatory, the gas station near my house, I went in there today, the lady's wearing a mask. She's not too happy about it. The company gave it to her. They said, well, governor's orders, all of the stores, even the essential ones that were open this whole time, you now all have to wear masks. There's some issues with wearing masks. It's not necessarily a very good thing. It's not good for you. I don't know if you know how this works. I'm sure you do. You breathe in oxygen. Your body then takes the oxygen and splits it up, and you breathe out carbon dioxide, my bad. You're breathing into a mask and you're rebreathing that. Like, there's nothing healthy about wearing a mask for 8 hours a day. I know you say the masks are so uncomfortable, Janice. The way this one works here, if you can see on the camera there, fits around your head in the back like that, so it can hang off of you, and then it just kind of laces around the back, just like so. So it's actually not super uncomfortable to wear something like that. But the ones with the elastics, they can be a pain in the butt, that's for sure. That's why we went with the laces versus elastics. Masks are a metaphor to control us like an effing puppet. Well, I will actually... Okay, so I will say, I read an article. It was very much using that as a metaphor for control. If they make you wear a mask, you should hold up Americans with Disabilities placard and say, I have a disability, I can't wear a mask. And I'm like, that sounds extreme. You know, there's a lot of people that try to force change by yelling and screaming the loudest, but usually those people are not the best people to go with. Do you guys remember a few years ago? Do you remember when Cliven Bundy, he had a ranch out here in Las Vegas? Does anybody remember Cliven Bundy? Give me a thumbs up, a like if you remember Cliven Bundy. I'm going to talk to you guys about the difference between protests, between somebody that made everybody in an entire political party look terrible and somebody who made everybody look awesome. Do you remember Cliven Bundy? Okay, it doesn't matter. He had a piece of land down in Nevada, and when basically the National Guard came out, they had sniper rifles on Cliven Bundy pointing at the United States National Reserve, the Guard. And it's bad because when you do that, you look the most extreme. So if you're mad about wearing a mask, I understand. If it becomes a societal norm, that's not a good thing. And it sucks. We don't want that, right? So when we go, that's the extreme end of one thing. Pointing a weapon on a sniper rifle on a hill at federal agents, not a good idea because those people feel intimidated and horrible. And then you go back to Martin Luther King Jr. Martin Luther King Jr. told his people that were supporting him during the civil rights movement that no matter what you do, you don't throw a rock, you don't strike anybody. If they want to put a water hose on you or turn the dogs on you, you don't do anything violent against them. Okay, so that's the extreme difference. And one person unfortunately lost his life, and the civil rights movement has passed, and thank God we have equal rights for everybody. But on the other hand, you had a guy that came off as some crazy redneck rancher. So if you're going to go and wear a mask and get mad about it, I understand. I don't like wearing them. Yesterday we went over to a place called Cactus Joe's. I filmed a bunch of footage. Masks were apparently required. There were people in there not wearing them, and I'm like, geez Louise, this is sucky. I mean, I'm wearing one. Why don't they have to wear one? But if you have to wear one, you can scream and yell and be loud about it, or you can just kind of go with the flow and talk to people about it and tell them, look, this is why I don't agree with the mask thing. I'm wearing it out of respect for the business that I'm in, but I really don't think that this matters because Dr. Fauci said it doesn't matter, because this person says it doesn't matter, because that person said it doesn't matter. But then again, the WHO tells us this thing is not communicable from person to person. Then it turns out it is. Then they say you don't need a mask. Then it says that you need a mask. There's too many double speaks and double thinks going on. Another positive news item, if you're just visiting us and joining us, I hope you guys would throw me a like if you could, and then subscribe to the channel and all that good stuff. Another positive thing was Jim Murin, former head of the MGM Resorts International, a polarizing guy because he headed up a major gaming company that did things and made money. And if anybody makes money, it's apparently a bad thing these days, unless your name is Elon Musk and everybody loves that guy. Props to him for opening up his factory in California, and I sure hope that they move it to Nevada. We could use a Tesla factory here making cars. There would be 10,000 people that would be working here, and we'd diversify our economy. But Jim Murin, former head of the resorts for MGM, former CEO executive, he put together a task force, and he was interviewed in the Nevada Independent. Oh, Jacob's on the Strip. You guys might go watch Jacob. He's on the Strip right now. Anyways, thanks, Paul. You guys should all bail out of my live stream and watch Jacob. He's filming the Strip. I did that. I did a 30-minute video with edits and cuts in 4K, 60 frames per second, ultra high definition. Go watch it on your 4K TVs. But you can go watch another one. Either way, Tesla's in Nevada. Patrick says, yes, they have a gigafactory up in Reno, but they're talking about moving their entire facility manufacturing to Las Vegas or to Nevada. Probably would be in northern Nevada, to either Nevada or Texas, because they're just not happy with the way California is treating them right now. Let's get rid of... Hey, mods, could you guys get rid of Googs50, please? Because he says I'm blabbering. Thank you so much. Get rid of Googs50. Just kick him out of the channel. Anyways, so Jim Murin says So, so he says, I expect that the state of Nevada should be able to do 30,000 COVID tests a day. And I'm thinking that's great news. That's great news. Thank you so much, Wall Street Warlord. That's some good stuff, right? And then the other good stuff is that he thinks that the recovery in Las Vegas will be much quicker than anybody suspects. And to me, it makes sense because you have all of these casinos that are opening in different jurisdictions. You have people waiting over an hour to get into a casino. People are going to be really, really desperate to get out of their houses. They will drive here if they can't fly here. They will go to the casinos if they can go to the casinos. So I think we'll be up for a giant, huge spike in visitorship compared to what it's been. Somebody pointed out in my one of my comments that, Vegas had 42 million people in 2019. It's had 8 million so far. Yeah, that's true. 8 million. Those 8 million come from January and February, two of the lightest months in Vegas. And then March and April, we were completely shut down. So we could get out of this with maybe getting 20 million people to the city. That's a 50% drop, but it's still 50%. Would you rather have one slice of pizza or no pizza at all? I ask you that. If you tell a starving man he can have one bite of your sandwich and 2 fries, he's going to take one bite of your sandwich and 2 fries. That's really all this is. When Vegas opens up, buy Southwest stock. Are you talking about Southwest Airlines? Eric says a lot of these airlines are apparently they're like ratcheting down, and I heard JetBlue may not be. I heard JetBlue may not be flying to Las Vegas. They might not fly into Vegas until 2021, which is very unfortunate. We're going to see who else, see who's live right now. Okay, well, Jacob was on the Strip. That was 30 minutes ago. You can go watch that later on because it's a pre-recorded one. We'll see who else is doing the Vegas thing tonight. Whoa, Chris, thank you so much. Great job. Love your insight. Chris says 698 thank yous for him. And Paul, I'm loyal to me and Blackjack. Blackjack is sleeping somewhere else. And we have say hi to Matthew, who's live streaming right now too. So you have some choices in your Vegas selections today, which is good, and I appreciate that. Airlines are terrible investments. I won't put a penny in them. Actually, I would say if you bought Lockheed Martin or Boeing stock, you'd probably be pretty good right now. That's not an airline, obviously. Whoa, Brianna! You do an amazing job and check all the facts and let us know the truth of what's going on in Vegas. Thank you. Well, thank you, Brianna. That is so sweet of you. I know Brianna was coming to Vegas in June to do some kind of a live stream, so you guys might want to check her channel out. She's very good at coming in and supporting all the local YouTubers, and that's very nice of her. Guys, wow, 699 likes for Brianna. That is very cool. Very much appreciated. I think a majority of people will be skeptical at flying until later this year or next. Well, I mean, we can't always take a look at what other people will do based on what we think we will do. Because, okay, you guys ever heard of the Bradley effect? Has anybody ever heard of the Bradley effect? Give me a thumbs up or a like, or say, I never heard of the Bradley effect. Will Jacob says, my big issue with Jacob is that he still acts like he's the cool kid in high school and walks around with his attitude. Everybody, I don't know what to tell you. Jacob's from Chicago, Illinois, or from Fresno, depending on where you look. But we're not talking about that tonight. We're talking about Vegas. So you guys have not heard about the Bradley effect. Well, the Bradley effect describes what happened in our last election, our last presidential election, okay? So the Bradley effect is where in Los Angeles, some time ago, decades ago, there was an African-American guy running for, I believe it was mayor of Los Angeles. And so they would call people at home back in the day, and they would say, hey, this is the LA Times, or this is Reuters, or who does polls? I don't know. Who does Ipsos Read? Whoever does polls, we're polling to ask if you're going to if you're going to vote for, I think it was William Bradley, because if you fly out of LAX, you go through the William Bradley International Terminal that goes to international. They say, we're just calling to see if you're going to vote for Bradley for mayor. And on the phone, people said, yes, of course I am. Yes, absolutely. Why? Because they didn't want to say no, because they were being told that they should vote for him based on whatever reason. And in that case, it's the same thing that happened in the last election, where all the polls showed everybody was going to vote for Hillary Clinton. And then when it came right down to it, is it Tom Bradley? Tom Bradley Tom, not William. Thank you guys. You're great. I love all of you for correcting me on the record. And I'm not against saying I was wrong. So it's Tom Bradley. So people will say, oh, yeah, I'm voting for the guy. And that, maybe they were saying it because they didn't want to feel it was right after civil rights, about a decade or so. And they didn't want to feel like if they said, no, I'm not going to vote for that guy. Maybe they thought that they would be like sounding like they were racist or something, even though it was the issues that they didn't like, or maybe they didn't like his platform. Same thing happened in the last election. You had Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump. And you call somebody on the phone and say, you're going to vote for Clinton or Trump? Oh, Clinton. Are you kidding me? That Trump guy. And then everybody went to the polls. They didn't vote for Tom Bradley, even though they said they would. He was supposed to win in a landslide. They didn't vote for Hillary Clinton in a lot of states, even though she won the popular vote, but he won the electoral college. And even though it looked like she was going to win by a landslide. So when it gets back to you guys telling me that you're not going to go on the airplanes, I understand. I understand where you're coming from. But you got to remember, if you polled 10 people in a room right now and said, are you going to fly on an airplane when it comes right down to it? They might say no, because they think that if they say yes to you, oh yeah, I'll be on the first flight to Vegas, you might look down on them. You might think less of them. You might think, well, what are you, some kind of disease spreader? You see what I'm saying? So when it comes to that, I understand you guys are being genuine when you say you're not going to fly on a plane. But a lot of people you talk to, they may not be as genuine as you. They might just be the ones that say they're not going to fly because they think that that's what society expects them to stay. John says, Steven, we have to stand 6 feet apart, so why can't we 75 feet apart and play tennis? That's a good question. I don't know. I think the recreation stuff is open here with the exceptions. Is Brianna leaving the chat? Brianna, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate it. And so that's what it comes down to. So if you put a bunch of people in a room right now and you ask them, are you going to Vegas on an airplane? They might say no because they don't want to be looked down upon. Are you going to Vegas? Oh gosh, no, I don't want to be spreading the disease, blah, 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 blah. And so you got to look at that when people ask opinions. This is the Bradley effect. It's existed in polls and in independent research for a very long time. And that's what happened in the 2016 federal presidential election here in the United States. That's what happened when he was up for mayorship in Los Angeles. And that's what's happening now when you ask people. But have you ever noticed, has anybody ever noticed that you guys talk to your friends and they talk much differently than what the news media says? Maybe some of your friends are legitimately afraid and scared, and I understand that too. But a lot of them will be like, this is ridiculous. We can't stay here, blah, blah, blah. And well, I can't stay in my house forever. And they'll say those things to you. And that's what they really believe because they know that you're not going to judge them, if that makes sense. Whoa, Chris Martinson, Steven, you're wicked smart. I don't have any degrees in anything, Chris. I have no post-secondary and very little high school education. I just read things and I don't know what to tell you. I've talked on this live streams about kids coming out of school. Thank Chris, guys, 738 times. I've talked to you guys about people. There's a channel called Valuetainment. Patrick Bet David. He's a very smart guy. His family ran away from the Iranian Revolution to have freedom in the United States. He's an entrepreneur worth hundreds of millions of dollars. He talks about how come college diplomas and degrees right now are not valuable as they once were. And I'm not saying that if you want to be a doctor, I don't want you to get a degree, but I am saying that getting a communications degree or a video editing degree or a visual arts or whatever they call it, that, with the amount of information we have, it's not necessary nowadays in a way. All right, so we have the former CEO of MGM Resorts International that has all of his tendrils in the whole community of business in Las Vegas saying he thinks that the comeback will be faster and more swift in Vegas. We have Caesars Entertainment saying that they don't see a reason to require guests to wear masks. We have the governor opening everything officially on Saturday saying that the only people that have to wear masks in these businesses are the employees working for the stores, which I don't understand. So can anybody explain that one to me? If you're going to open a big box retailer can hold 1,000 people. That's the maximum occupancy. 50% of that is 500, and everybody goes out to shop, and you have 50 employees in the store and 450 guests in the store. What difference does it make to have the 50 people in the store wearing a mask with 450 people theoretically at max not wearing a mask? Makes little difference, in my opinion. Masks are great. My wife sells them, 2 for $25. I'm happy that she's doing something to make things and being creative. But at the same time, do I wear a mask when I go out? Yeah. Why? Because I want to fit into the societal norms. I guess it's the Bradley effect all over again. Want to see the Not Leaving Las Vegas show live on the Las Vegas stage. It could be like, you guys know that Mike Tyson. So does anybody like Mike Tyson? Who likes Mike Tyson in the chat? Mike Tyson has a massive, massive, massive following in Vegas. If I can get over 320 likes, I will tell you guys a story of a friend of mine who went to almost every single prize fight in the history of Las Vegas up until 2010. If I can get 320 likes on the channel, I will do that. Mike Tyson has huge ties to Vegas, of course. I mean, before he was basically banned from fighting here. For biting off Evander Holyfield's ear. And there's an interesting story about Evander Holyfield and Mike Tyson. There's a podcast I listen to called Sports Wars. Brad asks if I still have a GoFundMe page. Brad, I technically have a GoFundMe page for equipment, and I have one for my move, but I'm not asking people for donations. I'm trying to save up for a nice camera, but I don't think it would be very nice to do a GoFundMe page right now when so many people are going hungry, and I just need camera gear. Like, what kind of jerk is that? I can get 5 different jobs if I want to hustle my butt even further than I do. I have 320 likes. Okay. So, Mike Tyson, Evander Holyfield, if you want to listen to it, go listen to like the 6-part series on Sports Wars, and you can figure out why that came to a head as it did, where Mike Tyson bit a chunk of his ear off, right? But the whole thing about Vegas is like, let's say 2 fighters are fighting. Let's say it's Manny Pacquiao and Conor McGregor. There's a fight I want to have happen. That would be so cool. Then what happens is Pacquiao gets a certain amount of tickets reserved for friends, family, and entourage. So does McGregor. And if those people don't show up, a friend of mine was really smart. This is way the days before StubHub and all of these things like Craigslist. He used to go in and he used to manage to every single time get himself tickets to the fight for like next to nothing. So what he would do is simple. He would go out and he would stand in front of the MGM Grand Garden Arena, which is where most of the fights were happening for the longest amount of time. And he would basically look for those tickets to get released by the box office. He would go to the box office, he would buy the tickets for $50, and he would go to every single prize fight. Mike Tyson has a huge, huge connection to Las Vegas, obviously. I mean, he's been here so many times. He owned property out here. Mike Tyson actually owned a wildcat. I'm trying to think of which one it was. I think it might have been an albino tiger, but I know he also owned a puma for sure. That's why in The Hangover, his cat is in The Hangover. If you guys are just joining us, we're doing some Vegas talk. The awesome news today, if you're just joining us, is that the Caesars Palace and Caesars Entertainment is not going to require their guests to wear face masks in order to go into their casinos. That is absolutely great news. That is something that more casino properties have to look into, because I know if given a choice to go to Caesars or go across the street to the Wynn and have to wear a mask, most people are going to go to Caesars. So make sure you subscribe if you're just joining us. We're doing Vegas chat right now. So Tyson had his one-man show out here, and it was at the MGM, and it was pretty successful. I know he went to Broadway with it and other different venues. Tyson Holyfield 3 MGM charity fight for Vegas reopening event. Johnny O, that would be very interesting. I don't know if Holyfield or Tyson is in the mood to fight anymore, but they could put on some kind of a demonstration. It would be kind of like Rocky Balboa coming out of retirement to fight in the last Rocky movie, which was filmed in part at the MGM or the Mandalay Bay Event Center. Hey, Steve, are there any clubs open yet? No, PZ. Thanks for being a long-time viewer. You've been around forever. But there are no clubs open right now. The only things that are open are non-essential retail, plus essential retail, plus restaurants are opening. Barbershops, nail salons, no gyms, no theaters, no sporting venues, so you can't go to the T-Mobile Arena and watch a show. No casinos, obviously, are opened right now. Tyson looks real good right now. We should take a look at Tyson. I always love to see how people change their physiques. I've changed my physique in the past. Now I have a physique that's made by donuts. So, literally, mini powdered donuts. These are the stupidest thing in the world, and I should not eat them. But you know what? The knowing and doing gap, it's in the Bible. Just go look it up. Does anybody know what the knowing and doing gap is? If you guys want me to tell you about the knowing doing gap, I will tell you something that'll just make your head go, and you'll say, I do those things. And I'll be like, yeah, everybody does them. Give me a comment if you guys want to know about the knowing doing gap. Mike Tyson physique 2020. See what he looks like in 2020. Oh my goodness, Iron Mike has been working out. These are all pictures from when he was a young kid. But you know what? I love Mike because he's been through so much crap in his life. I mean, he's been through it all. SJ Braveheart says, "Hi Steven, I want to get married in Vegas at Mandalay in September. You think we have a chance or think my plans are over?" No, I think you can get married. I mean, the Marriage License Bureau has started putting in issuing marriage licenses, so you can get married. You can get your marriage certificate. I recommend the Little Church of the West because that's where I got married. Pardon me. It's right across the street from the Vegas sign, so as an added bonus, you get to walk across literally 3 lanes of traffic and take your picture in front of the Vegas sign. Plus, as a triple added bonus, it's one of the only chapels. There's only, I think, one other one that's on the United States Historical Registry of Significant Buildings or whatever it's called, so it can never be torn down. It's one of the very first ever chapels in Las Vegas. Tyson is a beast. I'm going to have to look that up. Want to see the Crazy Girls show return to the strip, just like in the movie. Well, Wall Street, good news. It never left. Crazy Girls is at the Planet Hollywood. When the Riviera closed down, they put it over at the Planet Hollywood, so you can still see that show. I imagine it's going to be around. It's been around for the better part of 30 years in Las Vegas. Caesars will probably have to shut down in a month, Bernie says. Well, I don't know where you're coming from on that, Bernie. They've been losing money for the last 4 years and they're still operating. Caesars will have their day in the sun in Las Vegas as long as they treat their guests like people. And that's the problem right now. Nobody's treating guests like people. Guys, I have 738 viewers. Thank you for all the likes. And thank you to my rock stars here. We got Michael R., Brianna Drag Queen Slots, Chris Martinson, Paul Tetler, Brianna again with a big one, Chris Martinson again, Paul T., Paul Tetler, and SJ Braveheart. Thank you guys and everybody else for being awesome and chatting and being my moderators and all that kind of stuff. Where did Elvis get married? Well, Paul, in the movie that I watched, one of the movies, he got married at the Little Church of the West. Famous celebrities have been married at the Little Church of the West. That's where I got married, not because famous celebrities were there, but it is an iconic place. Let's take a look at it on the Wikipedia so we can take a look at the Little Church of the West. It's the 4th entry. That's how significant the building is. Notable weddings, Betty Grable got married there. Zsa Zsa Gabor got married there. Judy Garland, David Cassidy, Bob Geldof, or Geldof, depending on, I don't know how to say his name. He's a British guy. Dudley Moore, Red Fox, Richard Gere and Cindy Crawford. Noel Gallagher from Oasis got married there. Billy Bob Thornton got married to Angelina Jolie there. Jodie Sweetin from Full House got married there. Mickey Rooney, Robert Goulet, Buck Owens, David Sanborn. Telly Savalas with a little lollipop, if you remember that. Mel Torme, Lars Ulrich from Metallica, and that's pretty darn cool. 75 years old, the Little Church of the West. Go figure, right? So that's a famous place to get married at in Las Vegas. Have you heard anything about the Cosmopolitan, Ryan says? Not necessarily. The Cosmos paying their full-time employees through either... might have been the last week or next week, which is good. Okay, so Steven, we own a nonprofit 501c3 at Steven Franco Boxing in San Antonio. We focus on troubled youth. We also train a few boxers, Steven says. That is nice, Steven. I am out for boxing. Gives a lot of consistency and discipline to those kids. They get their rage out on a bag or learn some discipline to be more methodical in their thoughts. Boxing is really good for people. As long as you're not Mickey Rooney and break your nose up. Whoa, Mike Fazal, thank you so much, Mike. 698 likes for Mike. I like Mike and Chris again. And Scott G, love the channel. Is the area around Fremont Street, Old Vegas? It certainly is, Scott G. It certainly is. Let's talk about Old Vegas for a moment, okay? So, Fremont Street was named after John C. Fremont. There's also Northern California. You have Fremont, California. And John C. Fremont was one of the first explorers in the western part of the United States. He went all over and he found things and did things. Now, Fremont Street was founded, the city of Las Vegas, it was incorporated as a city in 1905. So technically we're 115 years old as a city. And at first you had just absolute debauchery. Vegas was just a stop in the middle of the desert. The original purpose of the Mormon fort setting up was so that they could have a place to prophesize to travelers, give them some water and some food, and read from the Book of Mormon to them. They abandoned that, but there are still settlements out here. The history of downtown Las Vegas, and I gotta refer back to my book, Super Casino, because it tells me really, really, really well how it happened. It's basically a history of water rights downtown. Some of the first water rights where you could get water rights out of the ground and you could have springs were owned by a couple. She cheated on her husband. There was an old Wild West duel. Her husband was killed. She inherited all the water rights. Then the railroads came in and started buying up land. And then they had a monopoly on the water rights. People protested. And then the city came in and put an end to everything and made an actual proper water district. I didn't write a book, Richard. I have a book in my house called Super Casino. It's a great book. People want to know about phase 2. All right, folks. We're just starting phase 1. Okay. Now in Georgia... In Georgia, somebody wanted to be a Debbie Downer in my comments today and say, well, in Georgia, they just had a giant flare-up. They're going to close the state again. But they didn't have a giant flare-up. There are some hot spot areas in every single state. And they're doing the approach where they take a look at it on a daily basis. Right now, thankfully, we've gotten to the point where we actually know how many people have it on a nightly basis and how many new cases there are. So I've been saying this for months now. I've been saying for months now that the government needs to track things better to give people confidence coming into Las Vegas. I also said a great, brilliant marketing campaign would be to give people a free antibody test when they come to Las Vegas. Come to Vegas, stay 3 nights or more, you get a free antibody test at the hotel. Don't tell me that they can't afford it. They can buy those things in bulk. There's currently a Vegas company that is working on an antibody rapid test that would tell you within 5 minutes if you have the antibodies to it. So people could go back home with a certified antibody test and know that they have some semblance of protection. However, I have to say, the antibodies are not always 100% coverage and protection. This is not the same as having antibodies for, say, hepatitis. And you can have antibodies for hepatitis. You can take a test for hepatitis, test positive, and then have a massive freak out thinking that you have a horrible disease. So antibodies for this C19 doesn't mean that you're protected. You might not have enough concentration for your body type. The antibodies can wax and wane. They figure possibly they could go away. I was watching a podcast where they were talking about a case in China where a guy got basically C19 virus 5 different times. 5 times. He's had it flare up again. So you think, well, that's crazy. And that's really what we're talking about here. We're talking about opening up a city that's based on tourism and travelers from all over the world. But just on the cover of the Review Journal today, whoa, Paul says, hopefully fast rail trains will roll on in. Paul, I would love to see high-speed rail work in this country. There's a really good video on YouTube about why Rail Channel doesn't work in the country, in the United States. And I got Jason M. just learned about the Harmon Hotel. What happened there? Do you guys want to hear me talk about the Harmon? I can talk about the Harmon with you guys. Guys, thank Jason M. 697 times and Paul 697 times. Give some thumbs up for that. Do you guys want to hear about the sad tale of the Harmon Hotel? Because it'll kill some time. Just kidding. But I could tell you about the Harmon if you would like. Thank you so much. Crispy is here. My friend Crispy Dill Pickle. He says, boom, flying out to Vegas this June. But I'm planning a vacation for a year, going for 2 weeks. Am I going to get stuck there? No, Crispy, I don't think you're going to get stuck here as long as you have some casino to go to. And even if you didn't have a casino to go to, there's other things to do in Las Vegas. Trust me, I filmed a bunch of footage at Cactus Joe's, and there's other little activities to do in Vegas. But if you're coming out here for the casinos, just make sure that there's a casino to go to, my friend. Do you guys want to hear me? Okay, Harmon, I've got Punky Power. Mr. Classic TV 1980, thank you so much, guys. So the Harmon Hotel. You don't know what it is because it doesn't exist anymore, right? Right. Harmon Hotel. That's not right. I didn't mean to say that. The Harmon Hotel does not exist anymore. If you guys don't know, the Harmon was at the city center. The original plans on the hotel was for the Light Group, L-I-G-H-T, the Light Group, to be managing it. The Light Group was a group that managed big nightclubs and brought in entertainment to all the different properties that MGM had at a time. Now it's more Hakkasan. I think Light exists to a capacity, but they were big, huge wheelers and dealers back in the day. So the Light Group was going to manage it, the MGM was going to own it, and they started building this amazing hotel that was supposed to be about, I want to say about 50 stories tall, which would put it on par with anything in that area. Turns out, though, that this hotel that was sitting on the corner of Harmon and Las Vegas Boulevard had some major issues. Architects design plans for buildings, and they tell the designers that they have to use rebar of a certain thickness, and they have to use concrete of a certain type. Concrete is a science, okay? Concrete is a science, and there's different types of concrete that do different types of things and different types of hardness and stuff like that. If you're ever working with concrete in your house, make sure you wear a face mask for that, because it's very, very carcinogenic. It can be, if you work with it for a long time, don't breathe it in. It's bad for your lungs. But when they poured the concrete and they put in the rebar, it turns out that they didn't use the right type of rebar, and it wasn't built to spec. So they stopped in the middle and tried to correct everything. They tried to correct everything. Well, Rob Hardy, thank you so much, Rob. I will keep up the good work. So they tried to correct everything, but they weren't able to correct things. When the inspectors from the county came along and said, this building here is basically an earthquake hazard. If it were to have an earthquake over, say, 5, the whole thing would collapse. They had 2 different options. They could try to tear it down to its foundations and rebuild it. But by then, the City Center project had nearly fallen into bankruptcy once before. They were funding with, they're doing funding with the Dubai Ports, which is a big Saudi Arabian firm that you probably don't know much about, but they fund a lot of stuff in the United States. There's a lot of conspiracy theories about why a Saudi Arabian company funds a lot of stuff. We won't get into those. That's not what this video is about. And YouTube will just ban the video if I talk about conspiracy things. So they almost went out of business, MGM. They almost basically went bankrupt in the middle of it. So they just basically decided to build it out so it didn't look like a shell. It went from 50 stories to like 30, and then they said, we can't do anything with this anymore. It can't be fixed. It can't be done. So instead of imploding the tower, what they did was they basically took it and they didn't do an implosion. They just did a teardown. They put giant tarps around the tower. And then just like how the tower would go up, 1 floor at a time every 2 weeks or so, the tower came down 1 floor at a time every 2 weeks or so. Now the Harmon Hotel is just basically a concrete plot of land that you can look at from the walkway that goes from Cosmopolitan over to the city center's Crystal Shopping. And there's nothing there. And it's got to be one of the most expensive plots of property on the entire strip. But nobody's done anything with it. There was some rumors years ago that they might build a Whole Foods there, but then Whole Foods went down to the town square. There's been rumors, but I imagine what'll end up going there will be some kind of a pharmacy, because that's all they seem to build in Las Vegas. However, getting to it, making it accessible might be a whole other beast altogether. And that is the story of the Harmon Hotel. Yeah, and when everybody said, there's never going to be an earthquake in Las Vegas, this channel is like Seinfeld, a show about nothing every day. Could somebody ban Bones Jones from chatting anymore? Thank you, guys. I really appreciate it. Yeah, so it is a real big, expensive plot of concrete sitting on Las Vegas Boulevard. And it's a shame that nothing's happened to it. And it would be nice to see something happen to it in the future. Thank you, guys, to Connie. Ricky Tiki. Wow, look at that. Everybody's deleted this message. Just put him on timeout, or don't put him on timeout. Just silence him on the channel. I don't need that kind of stuff there. Viva Wall Street. Yes, buddy. We got to be happy with Wall Street. They make the money go around, and they fund these casinos here in Las Vegas, I guess, is what it sounds like. I don't know if I'm the voice of Las Vegas, guys. I just try my best. Are the homeless still at Cashman? Let's type that into the Google machine. Homeless. Cashman Field. Let's see what's going on with the homeless at Cashman Field. Go to the news and see what the news machine tells me. 1 month ago. So 2 weeks ago. So it says the homeless population at the COVID-19 isolation complex triples in 2 days. That was 2 weeks ago. The number of people at a joint city-county isolation and quarantine complex in Las Vegas, which houses those experiencing homelessness who have tested positive for COVID or have come into contact, has since tripled since the beginning of the week. The city of Las Vegas daily count. Okay, so 37 in the isolation unit, 24 in quarantine, and 3 positive cases. So it's tripled with the tripling numbers. And when you say it's tripled, it sounds really bad. So it has gone up. It went from 19 on a Monday to 37 plus 24 plus 3. So 40 plus 24, so 64. So it went from 19 to 64 2 weeks ago. So yes, so the homeless population has a rough deal in Las Vegas, obviously. A lot of them rely on the generosity of people like tourists like you coming in and having some charitable thoughts and giving them something. Now they're not getting any of that stuff. So talk about a trickle-down economy, huh? If the person working at a dealer's table in the casino relies on you and the guy outside even relies on you, that's a pretty big trickle-down economy if you ask me, right? That's what it is. I got that Joe Pesci talk. No, it's just my bad New York mocking accent, whatever. So that's what that is. But at the same time, guys, you know, at one point in time, we were living in the best economy that the world had ever seen. It's crazy. Goiter says, I just got off phone from Vegas. He's saying hardly anybody wearing a mask's out at the stores. More like that half don't comply. Is that what you've seen? No, not at all. I'd say that when I go to stores, almost everybody's wearing masks. I was at that place yesterday, that big Cactus Joe's nursery hybrid art place, and everybody was wearing masks except for a few people. So I don't think it's like that, but maybe it's the type of stores they're going to. I don't know. Maybe you go to an automotive store, you go to a Napa store or an AutoZone. Maybe those guys think it's nothing. They don't want to wear a mask, and I understand. Well, Chris Martinson heating me up tonight. Good night, all. Praying to visit Vegas and my bro. Good night, Chris. Thank you for coming, guys. And we're going to keep these live streams straight and to the point. So I'm going to go for another 14 minutes here. We're not going to have to prolong the obvious. You guys want to know a secret about YouTube? Do you guys want to know a secret about YouTube creators that nobody will tell you? And I'm going to tell you a secret. You give me a thumbs up if you've already thumbs up the video and you can't do it again. Give me an emoji thumbs up or say yes. Type yes if you want to hear a secret about why so many live streamers are doing live streams. People that never live streamed before are doing live streams. Paul, Best Buy is not opened. Fry's is opened, but Best Buy's is not open. So if you guys, okay, so we got yes, okay. So here's a secret. When you go to your back end of YouTube, which I can't show you because it's got some sensitive things in there, there's this message all the time about live streaming. YouTube wants people to live stream. They've been trying to get people to live stream for years. The technology is there. It's not terrible. As long as you have like a halfway decent microphone and you have a good camera, you're going to make a good live stream experience. I guess. I don't know. I think also it's the personality of the person live streaming. But that's just me. But anyways, YouTube wants you to live stream. They take 30% of all your super chats. So if you go into a live stream and a guy says $100 in super chats, they're making 70 as the streamer. YouTube's taking their cut. And they want people to live stream so people get more money coming in, and then YouTube gets more money coming in. Okay, makes sense. They say increase your revenue. I don't live stream for that reason. I don't ever ask you guys for donations. I think it's tacky. I think it sucks. I'll do an hour-long live stream. We had this person in the channel before named Champagne Pappy. They got mad because of a moderator thing, but they were like, hey, look, I'll pay you an extra $100 to stay on for an extra hour. That's not the point of why I live stream, okay? So, whoa, Mike Medlin. Thank you, Mike. Have you heard about the plexiglass in between each slot machine? Also, the dealers will have the same. This is awesome, Mike says. I've seen the pictures of what the El Cortez wants to do, and I'm all for that. However, there's something very social about playing a slot next to your significant other or a friend of yours. So I don't know if it's all the same. But, you know, it's good that they have the protection if it makes you feel good. If it's all placebo, I don't know. Somebody's going to have to clean the plexiglass. So hopefully that they have the slot attendants and the cleaning staff doing that. But I've seen that. Yeah, I mean, I've seen that. And the Nevada Gaming Commission has said that they're okay with whatever. They'll approve things so people can get back to opening. As long as it's approved by the Gaming Commission, I'm okay with that. So my point is this. People that you used to see that used to do a video a week, they're now live streaming. Oh, why are they doing so many live streams? Well, part of it is because we have an advertising number in YouTube. And so if you're a channel that monetizes your videos and you have ads on your videos, you might have been making, if you're in Vegas, $8 per 1,000 views. You don't keep all that money, mind you. YouTube takes 30% of it. That's because casinos like Bellagio are advertising on a video that a YouTuber makes about Caesar's Palace, and Caesar's Palace is advertising before a video about the Bellagio. Makes sense, right? Okay, yeah, makes sense. Right now, those ad rates have dropped 40 to 60 to 75%. So a lot of these YouTubers, they're going on live streams every day, and I don't hold it against them, but they want to make money for themselves. And I don't hold it against anybody to try to make a buck, but they better be good at what they do. Because if they're not good at what they do, people aren't going to like what they have to offer. Whoa, Herbert, thank you. Please, please, please take my money. Amazing flow tonight. Thank you so much. I appreciate it, Herbert. So that's the point, right? I think if somebody live streams, they should probably listen to a lot of AM radio. They should listen to some podcasts. They should probably study the craft. I've told everybody, if you want to make a YouTube channel, go get the book on Audible for, it's called Way of the Wolf. It's by Jordan Belfort. Now, I don't like Jordan Belfort for many reasons. I know that he hasn't paid much of the money back that he owes all those people whose lives he stole away when he was doing his pump and dump scam. Pump and dump in stocks is really bad. I don't want to go into all that. But at the same time, he wrote his book and he talks about tonality. He talks about how to speak to people, but it's a sales book. So people go, I don't want to sell anything. And I'm like, you're selling everything all the time. Every single minute of your life is a sales pitch. If you want to do a YouTube channel, if you want to do live streams, you should really listen to AM radio talk show hosts, although you might not agree with their politics. A lot of the most popular talk show in the United States is a conservative. It's Rush Limbaugh. But if you want to listen to that stuff and you want to learn from them just by the cadence of their speech, if you want to do these live streams and expect anything from anybody, even just viewership, you better be good at what you do. Because right now, there are somehow, I don't know how, 699 people watching me, 425 likes. I don't understand it, so I try to put my best out there. So if I missed a live stream last night, we had some things that had going on in our life. Well, I didn't have anything to say last night. What do you want me to do? Come on here so I can just suck up super chats? That makes me a disingenuous jerk. That makes you patsy to my disingenuous jerkness. And that makes everybody a little bit poorer in the end. Like from my soul level, I am poor. That Sunday off was good for Steven. Really great vibe and flow. Maybe it was. Maybe it was. But I will tell you this. You guys have blown my mind. I used to look at social media with a really negative kind of filter. I used to look at it and think, you know what? Look at this. It's like anybody can say anything to anybody. But at this point, I look at you guys and I see genuine people who just genuinely want to come to Las Vegas and have a great time in town. And I think to myself, look at all these wonderful people. Look at all these awesome people. They're willing to honor me in this town. I don't even work on the Strip anymore, but they're willing to go on a timeshare presentation. They're willing to spend $300 to go to a show so that cirque performer who's worked all their life at being an athlete can be an athlete. Okerlund is here. Wow, thank you, Okerlund. 676 likes to Okerlund. I don't know, Paul, what a live stream is, but my wife wants me to do a video on why I'm in Vegas, why I'm working on this stuff and my family, and I'm scared to do it because if you open up too much to people, they don't like it. I know it doesn't make sense. Trust me, though. Trust me. You ever talk to a person, the conversation's going great, they figure they've made a new friend in you, and they just start complaining about everything? I don't want to do that, but it's not a complaint. It would just be, whoa, I got Steve Miller, the Space Cowboy. Thank you so much, Steve Miller. That is awesome of you. But I don't want to turn people off. That's all it is. And I know you guys want to hear that story. And easy money. Yeah, you can get a haircut in Vegas. You can get haircuts. You can get your nails done. You can get a pedicure. You can get a manicure. You can get a cure for something, not for COVID, unfortunately. I got The Rock in here. And Dwayne The Rock Johnson is here. And he seems to not be happy with something. We're just going to... Oh, I've already hidden him. So we're going to hide this user on the channel. Bye, Dwayne. It was nice knowing you, my friend. Steven, a lot of the folks here follow you, as with most vloggers, because they genuinely like you, and I appreciate that. I can't say your name. Steg. I'm a rocker, Steve Miller. Steven, love your channel, but why does everything look reversed tonight from other nights and videos? I don't know. No, my hat looks like it's straight. I don't know. It shouldn't look reversed. Oh, well, I put my camera up higher. That's all I did. It's not reversed. My camera is just higher up and behind my desk right now because my camera's kind of heavy, and if I touch on the desk, it would move the camera around. So I did it a little bit differently. Yes, you can get a haircut in Vegas. We will become the haircut travel destination. There's something called travel. What do they call that? People come to vacation in Vegas so they can get cosmetic surgery, and then they can do the inpatient thing and stay in a hotel. Maybe we'll become that kind of thing for haircuts. I've only made it to Vegas once, back in 2009 for the Restaurant and Bar Expo. Only one day I'll make it back. I hope you do come back. That would be awesome. It does look flipped. That's very strange. I don't know. Maybe it's flipped. Let me double check. No, my image looks the same. I don't know. Maybe I'll check it out later. If you guys say, yes, I'm reversed, I'll have to take a look at that. I don't know why I would be reversed. Yeah, look at that. I'm reversed. No, I'm not reversed. I don't know. I'll figure it out. I don't know what to tell you guys. I wish I went to Vegas in the 90s. Sure, it slapped. Will, it wasn't the same town in the 90s. It's not the same town. I'm in the exact same spot I was yesterday, guys. If I lowered my camera down and I moved it a little bit, you might see it. Same desk, same cat, same thing in the back, same thing in the back. See, watch. Look at this. See? That's the same view in the back that you guys always get, but you're just seeing me from this perspective right here with my photos behind me right there. All right, anyways, the cat is usually on the other side of you. Okay, maybe it's reversed. I don't know. I'll take a look at it. You guys seem really concerned about this. God bless y'all. Looks fine. No, he's right. Cat's on the wrong side. Microphone angled the other way. No, maybe I changed the setting of my camera. I was playing with my camera a little bit earlier today. Okay, did you move the cat? No, cat's in the same spot. You guys are great. Oh my gosh, it's becoming the It's Flipped podcast. Okay, guys, compartmentalize, okay? Settle down, moving on. I'm still on a live stream with you guys, and I will fix it for the next live stream, I promise you guys. All right, so with that being said, will MGM ever bring the Lions back, Johnny? They will not bring the Lions back. I imagine the MGM Grand has already moved on from that. People don't even watch MGM movies anymore, hardly. They don't see the lion at the front of the movies. That was a big deal. And that's one of the reasons they were advertising with lions, because of the lions from Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer. That's the old company, and they had the lions in the movies. 2005 to 2010 were fun years, I would agree. Tell us about Harrah's. Man, I did a whole video on Harrah's, so you can go and check it out on the channel. I went into one of the suites and had a good time and a walkthrough with my friend Kevin from Canada. Detroit still has the Lions. Go Lions, go, right? Man, you must have switched your camera settings. I might have done that, Bob's Bugs. That's all good. The Lions from MGM exist. They're down in Henderson. You can go down to Henderson and you can go take a look at them there. It's a paid attraction now. I don't know how the Lions are treated. I can't speak for those Lions. I don't know if they're treated like royalty, King of the Jungle, a little pun intended, or if they are treated differently. So you guys do your independent research before you go ahead and give money to somebody with wild cats in Las Vegas. Because if we learned anything from Joe Exotic and Jeff, some of those people don't do good things with the cats out here. So do your research on that. Steve says Vegas may have to change their slogan. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. And be more like, what you brought to Vegas may stay in Vegas. So if you are sick, don't come. That's a pretty long marketing slogan. Maybe we can distill that down. Fun fact, I said Lions, Steve, and you said Lions. Steve, what are you doing for fun? Not much, Jim. I'm trying to think of ways in my brain to get through the COVID times and generate income for my family. That's what I'm doing for fun, and that's what you have to do. Sometimes want to see the big, white, beautiful tigers get on the strip. I would love to see that at Wall Street. I mean, without going, I would love to see them in a show. I would love to see it in a show. That's what I would love to see. But, you know, there's no lion shows on the strip right now. Rick Thomas doesn't have lions. I don't know who else has lions in Vegas who's coming back to a show. Can you tell us about the PAL station? I can do that, but I only got 1 minute and 30 seconds left on the live stream right here, so we'll have to cover that in another video. Hi from Olds, Alberta. I think I've been to Olds. Olds is a nice little small town in Alberta. We are in phase 1, G. Moreno, so we're in phase 1 of our reopening phases. and science will dictate. So guys, here's what I'm going to tell you, okay? If we look at worldometers.com, and I can't bring up my browser with you guys, worldometers.info, my bad. When we take a look at the United States and we took a look at it, there was a day where we're having 3,000 deaths a day. We're not having that anymore. Okay, so the USA total is getting better. That's what I'm telling you. So go to Worldometers and look at the trend. Look at the chart. Our daily new cases are dropping. I might actually be able to do this. Let's see if I can. So I'm going to show you guys something so you guys don't feel completely panicked and freaked out in a world of fear, because people don't really do well in fear. We do stupid things when we do that. So here's what I'm showing you guys, okay? You have to take a look at this chart right here. Before I leave, this is very important, and I want you guys to see this, okay? This is back in March. We can see these exponential, ridiculous ramps. Now, when you're reading a chart for Forex, foreign exchange, or it's important to know, these are like little tables. We'll call this a table, okay? When we go down here, we want to get down below this in the future. It goes up, but it goes down and it breaks that table. So that one gets lower than that one. That's good. Now, look at this. We're lower than all of them. And that's what they call flattening the curve. The curve was going up, now it's going down, and it's becoming flat. And if you read these logarithmically, you can see that these are a lot different charts than if you just look at them like this. So that's a good thing too. So, you know, see, look at this. Daily new deaths in the United States. Okay? So when you guys look at this stuff, yeah, maybe there's a second, third, fourth, fifth, 10th wave coming, but we don't know. Okay? China is a different beast altogether. We can't compare us to China. But when we look at the deaths in this country, here's where it is. Okay? It goes up, and it breaks. It goes down further, goes down further. A little up, goes down way further. That's called simply flattening the curve, my friends. And that's what we need to do in order to make sure that we are having a better time and a better life. And if we can flatten that curve, and we can do it safely, and we can open things slowly but surely, and we can pull back if we have to, because we all know now what social distancing is all about, we're going to be okay. So I think it's going to be okay. All right, guys, you guys are great. I appreciate you guys for being here. Hello, it's Contessa. Appreciate y'all being here. You guys are great for being part of my live stream tonight. I want to thank our superstar rock stars that were able to chip in tonight. That would be Michael R., Brianna Drag Queen Slots, Chris Martinson, Paul Tetler. I'll say Paul T because I always say it wrong, I'm sure. Brianna Drag Queen Slots, Chris Martinson, Paul T, S.J. Braveheart, Okerlund, Mike Fazal, Chris Martinson, Scott G, Paul Rotter, Jason M, Crispy Dill Pickle, Paul T, Mr. Classic TV 1980, Rob Hardy, Chris Martinson, Mike Medlin, Herbert Daughtry, and Okerlund, and Steve Miller, and Herbert Daughtry, and Crispy Dill Pickle one more time. And thank you guys for being part of the live stream tonight. You guys are awesome. Things are looking up. Go look at that worldometers.info site. Go study some numbers and some graphs and some charts. Off that site, we can simply look at the state of Nevada if we needed to. And we can see that Nevada has 312 deaths, 6,152 cases, and that's actually better than we thought it would be. Somebody once told me in my in one of my comments, you know what they said? They said, "You're wrong. 1 in 10 people die from this thing." And I was like, what? That's the mentality of some of these folks that are living in fear versus living in faith of a better future. And you can't live in a fear. You have to live in faith of a better future. Those numbers that they gave me, 1 in 10 people, so wrong. So wrong. It's 5% here, which is 5 out of 100 people. And it's 4% in some places and even less in some others. And if we actually knew how many people actually had this thing, it could be as low as 0.02%. That's all I'm saying. So it's a real thing. I'm not a denier, but I need you guys to know that you should look at the numbers, look at the stats, do some independent research. Don't let anybody tell you what to think. If I tell you something, go research it, see if it's the right thing for you too. Same thing acts for me and anybody else. All right. Now's the time of the video where I say 3, 2, 1, click. Can I get a 3, 2, 1 click from you guys? And we're going to go and say 3, 2, 1 click. 3, 2, 1, and